This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I think there was a delay in recording. If I said that twice, I apologize. I am your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, and with me is my trusted sidekick, the elf to my Santa, the
Bernard.
Yes, the Bernard to my Tim Allen, Mr. James Cole. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
You were like, Bernard. Yeah, of course. You know, it all comes back to Superman. That's what Michael Bailey says, because Bernard's soon to be Zor-El.
Yep. Yes, sir. We just saw him on a show we were watching, and I was like, yeah, I'm excited. Like, he's going to be Zor-El this summer when Supergirl comes out.
So I'm excited. I like him as an actor. So, David Krumholtz.
Yep.
And I'm just like, could he be Bradley Cooper's brother? I mean, Bradley Cooper as Jor-El was okay. I think they could have done better, but he was okay. You know? Right. So, but let's kick off with some news. I got some random news crap stuff here. Let's see what I got. I got an image of some Supergirl figure bag clips, like mystery bags. It's just the Supergirl logo. Nothing super huge there. I got an image. It's kind of hard to see. I'll drop it. I don't know if I'll share it with you. Hold on one second here. Share my screen with James because he's awesome. But I got my first Supergirl shirt today in the mail. I ordered. Says truth, justice, whatever.
Nice.
I'm addicted to buying these shirts on Amazon because Amazon has an official DC license and I can order them in talls. But yeah, the first look, the Supergirl costume, Halloween costume. So from Good Day Las Vegas, looks pretty sweet. But that's going to be cool.
That's going to be cool to see this year, to see some kids in Supergirl.
I really hope I get to see a lot. I really do.
Well, because we've always seen like Supergirl costumes, you know, and a lot of the Supergirl ones are just pink, but
which never makes sense. And I think that's the one thing is like when they do Supergirl like that, they're trying to make Supergirl like her own. Like, oh, it's Supergirl because it's pink, but technically, if you're wearing the super symbol, it can be Superman or girl. That's why I was a big fan of how they did it on the TV series, where it was just the symbol, but the way they did her outline was different, so you could really mean like, oh, that's Supergirl.
Right. But yeah, it'll be cool to see the movie suit going around on Halloween.
So this, let's share this. This is a piece of art that my good friend made for me for Christmas. She just gave it to me. It's now hanging up in my office. It's a Supergirl, like she drew, colored, used different techniques to make it with paper and everything, and framed it. I fucking love it.
Nice. Can't wait to see it up close.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, next time I visit, absolutely. That'll be great.
This is the all-new spectacular Spider-Man Superman #1. I'm really excited for these when they come out. I'm not sure when they're coming out. I'm going to have to actually buy these. And I haven't bought like an individual book in a while. So that's pretty cool. What you think?
The wraparound cover looks pretty cool. Lots of super family, lots of spider family. I might have to pick that one up. I was considering picking up the Superman, Spider-Man, or Spider-Man, Superman books. I don't know if it's going to be multiple or one, kind of like the Batman, Deadpool. I'm pretty sure there was more than one of that one.
I really want to see. I really think Scarlet Spider and Superboy Connor would be really interesting to see them together. So, yeah,
the two clones.
yeah, the two clones basically. And then let's see, I have this cover here. It's got I like this one.
I like that one. I do like the wraparound one though. That one's pretty cool. Just all the members of the family. I really like it. Might have to buy two and carefully take that apart and
yeah, make it a poster. I really miss finding posters of like comic covers or comic art and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've really missed finding that stuff. Let's see. So we got those images for news. Let's see here. Mr. Miracle, as from James Gunn, the world's greatest escape artist, made his debut on this day 55 years ago in 1971. Happy anniversary to Mr. Miracle. Okay. Soon to be in our DCU animated show based on the 12-issue comic book series by Tom King. So I need to read that. But they said they're working on casting Mr. Miracle, Barda, and Darkseid, and those will be canon to the DC universe. So that's interesting, that we will have the New Gods or whatever part of the DC universe through the animated series.
Yeah. I mean, they do kind of exist, just because Darkseid exists in the universe doesn't mean like he has to be, whatever, your Thanos, to build up. So I think I'm definitely really excited to see that. And if they are changing and adapting it kind of like they're doing for Woman of Tomorrow, so that way it does maybe include some connective tissue, that'd be great.
So speaking of Woman Tomorrow, I got my first compact. I know my second is on its way from Mr. James here. I got the Woman of Tomorrow compact, and I posted it on Threads, and look who commented on it. Right here, Mr. Tom King himself.
Awesome.
So I felt very special that Tom King commented on himself. I was like, wow.
Great. They just came out with what's coming out tomorrow. Gotham by Gaslight is coming out in compact.
I might have to get that because I had that and I can't find it anymore. I'm wondering if that's the one that got tore up. Because Solomon asked me about it, and yeah. So let's see what other.
That one myself.
Here's some other news. Kevin Smith announced he's doing a 4-issue Bizarro series. This is going to be interesting, and I don't know if I'm going to read it because we all know how I feel about Bizarro and reading full Bizarro books.
Right.
But I'll try, I guess. But yeah. So Kevin Smith is writing Bizarro. Hamish Linklater has kind of slipped that we should be getting Batman Cape Crusader Season 2 this year. I really liked that series. I bought a t-shirt of it because I liked that bat symbol. And I really went back and revisited, and I just want more, I did really enjoy that show.
Yes, sir. I want to see that. I want to see it. I saw that it should be coming out later this year, and I was definitely excited. I want to see more of that, and I'm stoked to revisit it before season 2 comes out.
Good night, my children. Here's a quote from Tom King on Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan in Lanterns, liking the performance to Harrison Ford's cockiness. Kyle is so good. When he showed up, he got it the first day. He just occupied the character in a way he fit so perfectly. And then on Aaron Pierre, he is Jon Stewart. The first time I met him, I was like, oh my God, you're a superhero. So I really can't wait for Lanterns. I do think it's funny because Tom King is kind of being this really big consultant, on the DC universe. And I think it's interesting because so much of Tom King's writing for fans is, I don't want to say been divisive, but there's been good in it and there's been bad, Some people liked Tom King's Batman, some didn't. I think Tom King's a good writer. I don't always like everything he writes, but I read his Black Canary he recently did, where Fight. I thought that was really cool. That make a really cool mini series or something. But I just do think it's interesting because the previous DC EU, I guess we'll call for lack of a better term now that everything's done and over with, was all kind of shepherded by Jeff Johns in a way. And Jeff Johns is one of the greatest comic book writers that's come out in a long time and helped redefine a lot of these characters across the board. So right. I think that's just interesting.
Yeah. Well, also going from one medium to another, because definitely Tom King, I think, in my experience with Tom King, he definitely writes better in a limited series type run
format.
Yeah. So giving him something like Batman where it was supposed to be 100 issues, there wasn't enough material there, I still remember the one issue where there's only one word bubble and it's all the way at the end.
Oh my gosh. I totally forgot that you said that just now.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's unreal. So maybe bringing these characters into a new medium, taking some of his stories and compacting them, maybe that'll be beneficial for DC and for his writing.
Maybe, it's all about positive. The next thing is Man of Tomorrow's going to have a new cinematographer. Sam McCurdy will replace Henry Braham. He's worked a lot. I went through his, credentials, but some of his majors include The Descent, the recent show Shogun, Dog Soldiers, Peacemaker Season 2. I'm cool with that because I feel like Peacemaker Season 2 looked pretty good. I'll rewatch it looking at the cinematography. I feel like Man of Steel's cinematographer did really well. But there are some shots I think are a little overly bright in not a good way. And he also did do The Flash too, and there's a similar visual color palette there. So I am kind of curious what we'll see, getting a different cinematographer. I think some directors work really well with a cinematographer to where it helps create their unique style. When Zack Snyder doesn't use Larry Fong, it was really weird. Which was Man of Steel. It's part of what made that movie. Snyder switched up his cinematography, switched up his shooting style for that film, and then even
it
Zack
is pretty unique amongst his work.
It is, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League used Wagner as a cinematographer. Larry Fong shot BVS, and it feels more Snydery. And then, of course, the last one is My Adventures of Superman, Season 3, coming 2026.
Yes! I've been waiting for something on that. At least hoping this year. Good to see that.
And that's all I have for news. My only other thing really is a question to you, James. And this is we're not going to go down the rabbit hole too much on this, but just something I was thinking about. It really does. We haven't talked about. Looks like Netflix is going to purchase Warner Brothers. I haven't talked about it just because I didn't want to. I want to dive into hearsay and speculation and everything. Oh, one more thing after that, but I just got thinking about more today. Is like, if they do purchase Warner Brothers, does HBO Max go away? You know,
right? Does
everything
the
that's on
library go to Netflix?
Right, like does it just all get incorporated? Will Titans have a new
like $20 a month?
Will Titans have a new intro where it says Netflix now? Because I mean, gosh, go watch Titans on HBO Max right now, everybody. Just start the first episode of season 1.
Oh yeah, it starts DC Universe,
and then it starts DC Universe, and then it's HBO Max in purple. Then it's just Max in blue. You know, like, so I got thinking about that, and I thought about like, would they try to buy back properties? Or if Netflix did take it, would they pull everything back where DC sold off, you know, like there's certain cartoons and stuff you can find on Netflix now. You can find them on other streaming services. You know, Amazon has Batman Cape Crusader. So it's like, would Netflix bring everything together? Would they have a DC hub? You know, or something like that on there. Because I mean, Netflix had the contract, and almost all the CW shows are still on there. And Netflix in the UK has Smallville right now, where here it's on Hulu. Mm-hmm. There, it's on Netflix.
And here, it's actually done really well.
So it's just interesting, you know, what that might mean, and then of course for theatrical releases. And potentially, you know, the one thing that would, if Netflix does buy it, if they give us Batgirl, that would be amazing. Kind of like, or the Air cut, because you're already purchasing something that's just free, that's more free content in a way, because you've already bought it by making the acquisition. So I'm all for Netflix to release Batgirl. That's what I'm going to start that campaign. Netflix released Batgirl. And then the last piece of news was, and, you know, this is building a little bit of steam, but we might see Maxima appear in Man of Tomorrow, which, okay, cool. Yeah. It feels like something James Gunn would do.
Right. I mean, perhaps a scoop, but it hasn't been rebuked yet either, so could be debunked. And
I'm trying so hard, like both of us have talked about, of not talking about, you know, things that have leaked or supposedly are happening. You know, I've been very, very big on, if it's not actually said, then I'm, you know, addressing it if it's real. If it's not real, then I'm not addressing it. But that would just seem like something that, you know, seemed legit. So it could be not be. But so this is our first month of the new year, January, and we are launching season 4 of Superboy, the final season of Superboy. And we've taken a few episodes. We got Change of Heart Part 1 and 2, The Kryptonite Kid, and The Basement, which sounds like a really bad Goosebumps episode. So.
It kind of was.
So we're going to kick off here, and we'll talk about Change of Heart Part 1. This is an episode where we have says a wave of violence has broken out within the city, sending Superboy into tension-filled investigation. Little does he know he soon will be accused of murder. And then part 2 is Lana's life is in peril as Adam blackmails Tommy into creating a weapon to kill Superboy. We got the return of Tommy Puck, played by Bill Mummy of Lost in Space fame.
I remember the actor. I don't quite remember the episode. I don't quite remember the experiments and stuff he was doing.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
The guy, he almost looked the same. Almost was wearing the same outfit. It looked like.
Yeah. What do you call it? I just sit there thinking like it doesn't feel like it was that long ago we watched it, and yet here we are trying to recall when it happened.
Yeah, when it happened, what season, and almost all of these episodes I've only ever seen the one time. So,
but it was interesting because basically this guy is projecting on these screens, and it's causing people to go hyper violent and start attacking each other. And he's basically has Lana in an abusive relationship and tries to frame Superboy for murdering Lana because he gave her an injection to make her heart stop or slow down. But I'm like, Superboy, don't you like have?
I think. Yeah,
he did. He straight up roofied her.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
drugged her drink, and then Superboy came back there, and she's down on the ground, and he's just like Superboy killed her.
Use your why would Superboy do that? And
nobody believes it.
It was interesting because Superboy figured it out what was going on because the only person not being affected was a blind man, and that's how he realized it was the screens that were causing everyone to do this. He's like, the screens. It's the screens. And this one scientist reveals that he intentionally made Tommy Puck sick and does have a cure, but wasn't going to tell him there was a cure.
Gave him the placebo instead. Yeah, the 2-part episode was wild. The controlling rich guy who always gets what he wants. The subliminal messages on the screen. The crazy doctor who said that I gave him the virus and I have the antidote, but I'm just gonna let him die. And Superboy who's voluntarily just sitting in prison. Like I was kind of surprised he let him walk away. Like he didn't just rip open the bars then and grab the guy. Instead he let him run off and then open the door.
Yeah, and I mean we have one part where Superboy bends the bars and then bends them back, and it's just like, yeah, okay. But it was a good episode, or 2-parter. I watched them together. I did really like this one though. The Kryptonite Kid. Kryptonite infects a young scientist during a lab explosion, causing him to use his newfound powers against Superboy. What did you think about this one?
I was like, this is very freak of the week. The way he Kryptonite got into a wound, kind of gave him kryptonite poisoning, and then he got kryptonite powers. He could blast and apparently control trucks and stuff. He went real like punk though. You can see his hair and his outfit, his leather jacket.
He was green and radiating. Now, did you recognize the actor?
I recognized him, but I couldn't place him, and I didn't look him up.
Okay. So it's Jay Underwood, and he's one of those actors that was like on a bunch of like stuff in the 90s, like low budget or like Disney Channel made for TV type stuff. And I'll pull up something else he was in, but he was the Human Torch in the unreleased Fantastic Four movie.
Oh wow!
He was Johnny Storm.
I've definitely not seen that. Seen him in something else though. And,
how have you not seen that?
TV movies and
let's see. I'm going through. I
TV
know.
movies and TV shows. I mean, yeah, that's grew up in the 90s. There was so many character actors.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go pull. I'm gonna start in the late 80s
What's his
and
name?
pull up. Jay. He was in Uncle Buck. He was Bug in Uncle Buck. Remember the one that was hitting on the girl? I haven't seen Uncle Buck in forever, but like
Jay what?
John Underwood. He was in 21 Jump Street for an episode. The Over My Sons of the Dark, Superboy. Still Not Quite Human. That's where I knew him from. TV movie, Still Not Quite Human, where he played Chip. Can't talk today. Ernest Hemingway. Sleepwalkers. Everybody in the world was on Murder, She Wrote. Jesus.
Oh, that's funny. He was Power Plant 1 in Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Yeah, they got all of them in there, if I remember right. Or at least him and Reed Richards, which is a nice little call out. Which, if they really wanted to be nice, they would just have them as part of the multiverse and show him as Human Torch and show the other guy as Reed Richards. That would really be nice. He was in the X-Files, but he's just one of those faces. You're like, oh, I've seen him when I was young on some weird.
I probably would have seen him in the X-Files.
I just remember as Still Not Quite Human. But so he was the Kryptonite kid. And I enjoyed this one because like he was this, hot young scientist, Mike Walker, and he gets infected with kryptonite and he's all mad about it. And he damages Superboy's powers. And then when Superboy's depowered, all of a sudden, there's this guy who looks just like Superboy named Vic, who decides now is the time to start charging $5 to kiss Superboy and make money. And even from a sanitary point of view, that doesn't seem right. But anyways, and then of course Lana's like, "You're not really Superboy," and he gets arrested, and then Superboy gives him a chance to redeem himself by helping him trick the Kryptonite kid. So, I feel like the Kryptonite kid's one of those like unique villains that could come back around, like shouldn't be a one and done. And then the next episode was season 4, episode 4, The Basement. Aired October 27th, 91. Lana discovers an alien in her basement who steals her identity. I mean, that is... Also, that 2-part was directed by David Nutter. I forgot to say that earlier. So, The Basement, James. Tell us about what's in your basement. Not Lana.
My basement. No, definitely not Lana. And, I mean, only if she wanted to go. She could go. She could go down there, though.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd enjoy that. Anyways, Lana is in a basement where she happens upon this little blonde girl who is an alien. She uses this little device that changes her physical appearance and uses it to try to absorb her memories, like mind meld with her. And she tries to be Lana. And then Superboy shows up to rescue her and tries to, and then the alien tries to take the form of Superboy. And Lana rips the device off of Superboy's neck and holds it to nothing. Holds it in the air. And the alien changed into nothing.
Wow.
That was one of those endings. It was like, so you had no ending. That was gotcha.
Yeah. You're just like, oh, okay.
Like, we have this story. We got 20 pages of the script. We need 2 more. Who's got them?
What if we just leave it in suspense and we hold the frame a little longer? Genius. Promote this man. What's your name? James. All right, James. Welcome aboard, son. Yeah, it's one of those, it feels like it's one of those plots that someone had said, like, and they threw it away, and now they're like, guys, we're in season 4. We need something. Anybody?
Yeah. What?
Anybody?
Yeah. What? I mean, both of them, they had the last episode and the last episode and this episode both had like multiple versions. Like, so it was like a replicant or something of Superboy.
Yeah.
Or look-alike a Superboy in the last episode, and then in this one, Lana gets to play double duty.
She watched the episode and was like, I want to do that. Like, okay. Here you go, Stacy. Okay. And she's like, sweet. They're like, all right. It's a lot cheaper to just have Stacy play 2 roles. Don't have to cast another actress. We can just keep shooting, and this will be great. Let's go.
It. Yep.
So, but it's also that time of the month to dig into our comics, and we're going to get back to reading our regular comics of the Loeb Kelly era as we wind down, and we're talking about Lex Luthor running for president. And I'm going to go over here to my handy dandy notebook, and which is my tablet, and pull up some comics. Are you ready? I really have enjoyed reading what do you call it? The Jeff Loeb run.
Well, definitely the Jeff Loeb run on the Superman books.
All right, so we got Superman. It starts with Superman 162 and 163 involve Superman and Aquaman, with an appearance by Lori Lemaris and Superman making pancakes. But this is interesting because this is where he announces Pete Ross as his running mate, and why Pete Ross. And Clark Kent just happened to show up at the diner while Pete is talking to Lex about, being his running mate, and they pull Clark on TV and start chatting. But it's sad because I'm watching reading this, and I'm thinking more about those pancakes. And we have Lois stop at Hearst Matcher.
Pancakes and bacon breakfast for dinner.
Dude, so my kid's grief counselor, we made a joke. She gave us a bunch of farm fresh eggs. And I was like, kids, guess what we're having for dinner? Because Daddy is too lazy to go to the grocery store right now. They're like, eggs? And she goes, I like breakfast for dinner. I was like, oh, do you? Then I have a song for you. And I sent her the How It Should Have Ended Superman song, Breakfast for Dinner.
Yeah.
I was like, this is one of my favorite songs of last year. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, this is great. I'm like, I know it is. It's so punk rock. So punk rock.
That's awesome. I was just thinking about that though. I just watched Superman again. last week, this past weekend, something like that. And I was just thinking about Superman, and I was like, July was kind of a good month last year. We had such a good and empathetic and human Superman movie caring about everybody, and then follow that up with Fantastic Four and the Future Foundation and the human condition, the unity that and the cooperative nature, everybody working together. I was like, that was kind of a great month for the movies, to see those two movies like that.
It was. I didn't think of it like that, but it did. I was so, overwhelmed with other things that were going on at the time. But you're right.
Yeah. That just had come to me, like I said, coming up, thinking about, I had watched Superman and I had actually listened to an episode of somebody talking about Fantastic Four, and I was like, and I put it together, those two things. That was great. I think that was something that a lot of more people should have seen, just because of the nature of those two films and the good-hearted nature of those two films.
They asked us a question tonight at Writers Club I was at, and they asked, she didn't explain, she just said pick one. Was hero, anti-hero, or morally gray? And I was like, is this to write or what? She's like, whatever. And everybody in the room picked morally gray. I was the first one to say hero. I said, because sometimes you just need to write about something good that shines through all the darkness that everything else makes to be some sort of light. And then two other girls came in late, and they both picked hero. And then one showed up and said anti-hero. We had about 20 people there. But it's just interesting because we have gotten to a time, where the darkness is a little overwhelming. But
right.
back to this comic. We got Lori Lemaire. Lori Lemaire shows up for no reason other than she's in this book for a split second.
With legs.
Yeah. And then it causes, Lois is going back and forth about how she promised to, kill a story. And she's really hates that she has to have that over. But Atlantis decides it's going to attack Metropolis. And it's led by Garth. And
yeah, Tempest threatening to flood the city.
And then who decides to help but Robin, Impulse, Superboy, Cassie Sandsmark, Red Tornado, Young Justice.
Young Justice, baby.
They decide to show up and help Superman stop the giant wave and stop Tempest and the giant creature. And then all that's going on, Clark still has time to save Lois. Meanwhile, Lex is down there negotiating with Arthur, being diplomatic to help him secure votes and everything. Then some crazy lady shoots him in the leg, who just happens to be a plant. Way to go, Luther.
Of course, it's a plant.
And then the next, okay, so if we're going sequential through Superman, which it works this way, and we'll just go ahead to it. Vote Lex. The cover is the red. It's the first issue of 2001, Superman 164. And I will say it has Tales from the Bizarro world. Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal, and he's with Bizarro. And the art changes a little. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little upset because I really thought this this issue was going to be something more. Supergirl shows up and it's not the Kara Supergirl yet. It's like NZ style from the animated series.
Yeah, it says something about the changes in the Supergirl story, so we're not reading along with that at this time, so we might get into that this year. I'm not sure what's on the agenda.
Well, we're gonna hit the Loeb, error pretty good.
Well, I mean, we've covered Apocalypse before.
Yeah, we're gonna read Apocalypse and more.
Yeah, do the Supergirl book right after Public Enemies.
Yeah. And then you have another this big guy shows up to take out Bizarro. The Great Darkness, right? And then you turn the page and it's them in the office, and Perry's holding one that says Luthor loses, and he says, "Or does America wake up tomorrow to read this?" And it says Luthor wins. And I was just kind of I felt like I just wasted my time on an issue that did not deliver what it promised. It was very upsetting to me.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I was not happy with that one.
I mean, I was fine with it, but yeah, it wasn't the issue I kind of expected. The Superman book, the last 3 issues, it was kind of really connected to Lex Luthor and his run for the presidency. Bringing on Pete Ross and was it in this book that they did the Superman went and got Luthor from Atlantis and Luthor was working things out with Atlantis?
That was right. That was it was the issue before it.
So that was. I mean, that's what I mean, though. There were some points here that was kind of building up to that.
Yeah, it was. I felt like they were building up to a better, that we're going to actually see more of, the race. And then especially with that cover, that's what gets me. The cover is this is it.
Yeah, and then just a little bit of time with Superman kind of watching the news as he does, but then it's the way the way it ends. It's the whole story being Bizarro. There is no election race here.
So, all right, let's go to Action 772. The one with all the ladies on the cover. So this means it's one where James is going to do the talking because James knows all the ladies. Hey, ladies out there. This is James Cole. It says Lois, Talia, in Kendora, trouble.
Yes, definitely. Lois is in what looks to be Africa. I don't believe that they said specifically where she was. And she has her own deal going on here. She's supposed to be trying to get to the people who were hired to kill Superman, inject him with a kryptonite in microscopic robots. But they get ambushed by assassins, and she ends up fighting them off. Her and the other people, they kind of fight them off, but the guy shows up, Scarlet Scythe, And
Cool name.
yeah. And that's kind of where we leave Lois here, though. But Lois is definitely in trouble in this story. But Superman in Metropolis, as he's saving a building from crashing down in Cantadora, her magic powers are kind of destroying her building. Superman's saving the building from crashing down, and he goes inside, and she's a huge Superman fan, but he's there to try and help her out, and she disappears. But Talia is in her apartment, hiding in her closet, and she's there because she wants to. She's there because she wants to stop her dad. Ra's al Ghul is, he's Ra's at this point.
Yeah.
It's just, it's usually not good.
We just had a whole bunch of discussions about the Mr. Ra's al Ghul.
Yes, we did. And he's very evil on the absolute world. He's a very horrible person. But he's using her in Cantadora. He's forcing her to do his bidding. And unleashes her on the city as Superman and Talia are trying to rescue her or stop Ra's from whatever he is doing at this moment. We don't really get his plan here or anything, so this is a setup issue for this storyline here.
Yep. So we'll go to the next issue with James's new favorite Superman character, Encantadora. He's waiting for her to appear in James Gunn's movie. There you go. That would be the big surprise that James Gunn pulls on everyone. Everyone's talking about all these characters like Maxima, and he's like, nope. The next issue is called Kith and Keen. So on Kith and Keen, all right, Joe Kelly's right. We see Ra's. He is looking like he's wearing a snake, but it's not a snake. He looks crazy because he's got it looks like he's got cybernetics, but he doesn't. But basically,
something in the last issue, he is missing his heart. So I think these things are pumping his blood, or maybe the Lazarus through his blood.
He's like in a sail ship in the sky full of Lazarus. And they have Encantadora's small brother, and what do you call it? While we find out that they have him basically playing video games with men that are there to assassinate him.
The very least holding him hostage.
Right. And Lois is in trouble and everybody. But then Superman and Ra's are like bathed in Lazarus and begin fighting. They look like stone monsters. The fire of evolution poisoned you, the rebirth of my heart. And then we see the Lois stab this dude with a pin. And it was kind of cool. And then Talia got Encantadora's little brother. And then Ra's is being, he is naked, hanging out. just like James Cole. But it's weird, like
old for all that.
It's weird how the art looks like they're fighting, and then Superman and him are like coming together, and the next thing you know, it's Talia Shillen's father, and he's like thrown out of the blended green, and he wants to go back, but they destroy everything. She knocks him out, and then Encantadora escapes, and then Clark's there, like covered like gold, and then overly sexualized Lois pulls out her ring and says, "My heart," and then he breaks free from it and comes back to her, and then we see Encantadora evades Maggie Sawyer and gets away after telling Superman she'll turn herself in. He said, "I knew it was too easy. You've got your second chance. Don't mess up." And then Talia is seen with Lex, and she now takes her spot next to Lex as CEO. Dun, dun, dun. Which, that whole issue, like, I don't know, Talia coming to Lex, I think, is the most important part out of all of it.
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
All right, what's the next one? Superman, the Man of Steel, number 108, I think. All these are out of order. Or, no, wait, hold on.
I think 773 and 108 were the last two.
We didn't do Action Comics 771,
No.
where it is. This was a good, fun issue because this was Superman teaming up with Nightwing. It's called Nightwing and Superman, Metropolis Nights. And Superman sees someone he thinks is jumping and committing suicide. This one's lucky I'm in the neighborhood. I usually can't save them if they don't scream. And he flies down. He's like, catches him. He's like, Nightwing? And he's like, I thought you were a suicide. He's like, honest mistake. And Nightwing's watching Mr. Bindle White. And basically he's doing deals with Intergang. But he doesn't realize he's doing deals with Intergang. And they're on Nightwing and Superman on a sneak out together. And it's just funny.
It's got Superman doing the detective thing.
And we see Bibbo. We see some thugs down on the street corner. And then Mr. White, he realizes he's actually dealing with Intergang. Bindle is attacked by several soldiers, and Nightwing and Superman take them out together. And then Nightwing says he's going to keep these out of Bloodhaven, and that was the end. I like seeing Nightwing and Superman together.
Yeah, they're really good. I like in this issue, Superman does one of his, contain the bomb explosions in his hands.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Superman does the best. Okay, let's see here.
I like this issue. It was
it's probably my favorite just because Nightwing's in it with him. Like this one right here, Superman, the Man of Steel 108. Probably my least favorite. Yeah, I do like that John Henry's in it, but it just feels odd. Like Metropolis is burning. John Henry, like Superman goes to John Henry to reveal he's Superman. John Henry already figured it out. And he even calls him out on it. Excuse me.
I don't know, Superman, Clark.
Whatever your name is.
Right.
And they have to team up together to go and stop the villains of the story. And I don't know. Steel's suit looked cool, but looked weird, but looked cool at the same time. Like the mask, the way it was.
Yeah. It's almost got a Superman and Lois look on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then Professor Hamilton shows up at the end like a beach bum with a giant cybernetic cyborg hand. It was just kind of weird. But I feel like this issue really goes nowhere because it doesn't tie into the larger story other than the very beginning, like of Lex going around. So I feel like the road to Lex Luthor, like President Luthor, like right here is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting that it's kind of on the road too. I read a bunch of these issues leading up to this, all of them in reading order. So, Superman had just rescued this Luna character. He just rescued her from the Phantom Zone. She had got trapped in there back when Superman and John Henry rebuilt the fortress and went to create another Phantom Zone portal, basically, a door he can access. And she had gotten trapped there, and Superman went and rescued her, and she brought the lunatic with her. That kind of gave her this control over these people, this hive mind, and the mechanical creature that was attacking the city. So it doesn't really, the big theme of this section of the reading was like the campaign, and whether Lex was going to win or not. I don't think they have the Superman Lex issue though on here.
They don't.
I tried to find it and it wasn't on here.
Yeah, and that's what made me mad. It's like at one point I'm pretty sure it was, because when I pulled all this together, it wasn't here. But the last issue that we had that was on here is the Adventure Superman 586, which has Superman and Lex shaking hands, and it says the American way. It says soul of the city. I'm not a huge fan of the art of this issue. Mike Miller pencils. And we're in, let's see here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. And on the fourth page, it's congratulations, Mr. President. Superman shaking his hand. And then it goes into a whole other story with demons and
Satanists and so we've got this story where Thorn and her alter ego, Rose Forrest, Kitty Faulkner, and Rampage, her alter ego, and a young kid named Carrie Richards, who created the Adversary with like some psychic powers that he has. But they've all been separated from their alter egos in this story. And kind of the rub there is Satanist is like saying that he's going to give them the life, without the without being bonded to these other with these other things. Rose not waking up with hours of her life missing or beaten up, and because Thorn got into fights and everything. That's kind of just how that one goes. And then there's this the blind Mother Earth, the blind eyes of magic and wisdom. The owls and stuff. I that one was getting me lost. The owls had popped up in the last issue, so it's still didn't get it though.
It just really felt like all of a sudden I was expecting this strong story, and it just didn't go
right.
where I thought it would.
That's kind of the problem that we see from time to time with the Triangle era books and all the different writers that we've been reading is the writers are telling their own stories within the book, but they're expected to tie them together with, say, the first 4 pages, to tie it to the campaign, the canon that's kind of going on.
And the covers are misleading as you think you're really getting this story about, like I said, this is the big one, and it's what is this? Yeah.
I think that, the reading order is there, but I mean, if you wanted to kind of do one arc at a time per book, you'd probably be better. You'd be better served per story, per arc, by kind of reading each book, say these Adventures of Superman books. The way we've discussed them, the Superman books 162, 163, 164, the action 771 through 773, reading them that way. The Man of Steel books, same thing, and the Adventures here. You'd be better served reading them together as a group per book than to try and read it in the reading order, because they don't necessarily have a lot of connective tissue. When you're reading them back to back in reading order, it actually takes it makes it more difficult to get through, honestly.
It feels
because
like
you're getting one. When you're reading one book at a time for, like, say, monthly books, and then you were going to get the next chapter the next month, you'd at least have some time in between. You wouldn't be packing in 3 stories, 1 chapter at a time, and just bouncing all over the place. So I think it definitely, as we discussed them, would be an easier read for you. Feels like it would be for me, and I think that's what I might have to do next time around. Try that myself instead of following the reading order.
Yep. I think that's what I might have to. That's what we're both going to do.
Okay.
So next month, and see the kind of experience we get. I think we might get a better feel. But we're about done with this style that we've been doing. So we're going to shift over here soon, and it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's what I got for this month. One problem is what I really hate is sometimes, for people who don't know, we'll set up to record and then we get busy, or something will happen. We shift things around, so it's been a lot longer since I've read these or watched these than I would have liked, and it just kind of stinks. So
yeah, unfortunately, winter's here. I'm just happy that we've got a third guy in our on-call rotation, so I'm not stuck on call every other week. It's every third week, so I get a little bit of a break again from snow and the cold and the late nights during the winter.
So people, who don't know, poor James, like, with his job and everything, and the cold has just really kind of kicked him in the butt a lot.
Yeah, well, with nursing home and state fire regulations. If we had to evacuate, we have to have the walks clear, that type of stuff. So, when it's snowing, we got to be out there and help keep it clear. So that way, in case something were to happen.
Yep. I just say that James is a hero he doesn't get enough credit for.
No, I appreciate that.
We should all praise James.
Well, I don't need that, but thank you.
Yeah, you do. Just take it. So that's our show, everybody. Take care. We'll see you guys next time. And remember,
look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.